Well, guess what? I fell asleep. I just this second woke up. Oh, Lord. Well, it looks like a few people are sitting here. I go Agiu Klima from Greece. Hello, Aglio. Tasty Trinket and Jeff Fairchild. And Naresh. Kuna correct. Kuna Karan Naresh. Nice to see you all. And Julia. Hi, Julia. Here they through. Well, they were here. They may not be here now. I'm what 15 minutes late. Goodness. 805. Richard Karabeck. Hello, Richard. Well, we do have a few people here. Goodness sakes. My apologies. Oh, guess I was tighter than I thought. I ate some. I ate dinner late, and it put me to sleep. Lord. Oh, I did some making dinner. I have one of these super sharp knives that you just touch it and it cuts. Well, I got a really bad cut, a really bad cut. Worst cut I've had in years. Uh, I sliced the tip of my finger. It just kind of like a little razor, just where zip right into. I was cutting tomatoes and it just I didn't really. It has stopped bleeding, which I'm happy about. There it is. So I don't know. I'm gonna. Whoosh, I have to rebandage it before I go to bed. Mercy. Been a traumatic evening. It's been a strange day. Very quiet day, actually. Um, what did I do? I don't even know what I did today. I think I was busy most of the day, but I couldn't tell you what I did. I know I'm getting fishing tomorrow. Those of you who are local, I don't know what time they're being. Usually they're into the afternoon. So they drive down from New York. So they're delivered, which is nice because I get really healthy fish and they're well packed. Um, and always are just real good quality fish. Yeah, it's a nasty cut, really nasty. Christian is here. Hello, Christian. Cinnamon is here. Hello, Cinnamon. Nice to see you guys. Goodness sake, what else? If you wait more than 6 hours, they can't give you stitches. Well, I don't think I need stitches. I need to keep it covered. It was a clean cut, and if I can keep it closed, it'll heal. Uh, Probably stitches would not even be advised because it's on the tip of the finger of the pad, and I shouldn't lose any skin if I can keep it tight and just not mess with it. I'll look at it this evening, I guess. I probably ought to not. It's not bleeding now. It, I, I, I did not let it bleed. It just kind of took off on its own. And initially, it was really just blood pouring out of it. So we'll see. I think it'll be okay. I'm just gonna have to keep it bandaged for a week so it heals. Super glue. Yeah, right now the best thing I can do is just kind of leave it. Super glue is a good idea, but I couldn't. I don't think I could even put it on now. It would, if I mess with it, it's going to start bleeding again. and it's a kind of cut that just bleeds horribly. It just, I could probably bleed out if I let it hang out. I could fill a cup in 5 minutes. Video audio good, thank you. Figure not so much. Yeah, true enough. Hi Gary. Hello from Scotland. Fusido, Fusidos, Doas, Fusi, Fusirdo, paper towel and duct tape. Yeah, that's kind of what I did. I put a couple of bandages on it and then wrapped it in tape um, to kind of lock it in. So, anyone getting video? You should have video. Let's see. Video good. Omaha, in England. People from all over here. It's late in England. It's 2 in the morning in England. What are you guys doing out of bed? 2 in the morning. I ought to start doing the morning video again. That was really interesting. I did a 9 a.m. video. Golly, I did it. I don't remember every day, like for an hour or two, every day for more than a year. And we had people from all over the world. When it's 9 in the morning here, it's 9 in the evening in India. So it's almost, yeah, you can almost catch people in the daytime anywhere in the world. Uh, in the morning here, if it's in the morning here. Watching the best YouTube channel. Oh, thank you, Fusi. Well, I've got a new video. I haven't posted it yet. I want to give it one more look see and post it. It's those of you who were here last Thursday will recognize it because it's 100% cut from last Thursday. But it worked out really well. I'm really excited about it. Um, Now we also we're doing a new channel, initiating the channel Lou Foxwell on YouTube tonight. We're posting here and on Lou Foxwell. I don't know if any of you have seen that pop up. Perhaps a few have. That may be why I'm seeing some names I haven't seen before. I've been wanting to get a new channel going, and I think this might be the easiest way to do it and just start putting things on it. I will be doing some videos on it exclusively, I think. So far, with what happened last week, I'm happy being able to work on this Fish Time channel and be able to get into the subject matter that I want to. I think it's difficult for me really to separate myself from fish topically, mainly because I've spent the last 5 years trying to figure out how to say everything I want to say under the rubric of fish. And I've gotten I've finally convinced myself I can do it. So I don't know if I really need to. Plus the fact that it's my channel, I'll say what I please. Anybody who tells me I can't talk about this or that because it's a fish channel hasn't listened to very many live streams, because most of them are about backyard cooking or football scores and have little or nothing to do with fish. I just watched a video by Steinfold that I was very, very impressed with. They did 8 things that they'll never do again, or words to that effect. And I listened to every single one of them, and I've done videos on every single one. It was really interesting. So, my takeaway from that is that either they've been watching my videos or we share a very common experience, and I rather believe it's that both. I rather do, because the kind of things they're talking about are just common sense. Not using drugs all the time, not changing your water and trying to keep the tank clean all the time. Those sorts of things. And I thought it was just really well done. It was he and his wife, and they were both just real sharp, very focused, and had a real good subject matter. It was very impressive. We need, let's see, you have any tips on how to move a dirted tank to a no home without starting over? Well, obviously, if you can move the tank without tearing up the substrate, without emptying the substrate out of the tank, then you're better off. It's hard to do that. I did it with my 35 long, which is a 4 foot tank, and I actually had 2 inches of water in it. It weighed about, I don't know, 50, 60 pounds. So it took two people to move it, but I got it up here with fish in it. And it sat with 2 inches of water for well over a week, before I got it moved. No aeration at all. A few native fish in it. Wasn't anything really extraordinary, but they all survived, as did the plants. So you really can do it. It's just a matter of lowering the water to the point where you can pick it up. Um, Obviously, I wouldn't try to do it in the 75, um, unless I had some real bulldog workers and didn't have far to go. The difficulty with moving big tanks like that is you really um, need to have it in a vehicle that has really good shock absorbers. Because if you don't and you hit a bump, it's going to destroy the tank. The tank will do that. It'll flop up and smash down and be gone. Um, so you want to go easy if you're doing that. But yeah, just lower the water level and move it, and it works just fine. So long as you can move it, you'll be okay. You can even leave the plants in. You don't need to tear the plants out, particularly if it's going to be a short time. Mine, as I say, was almost a week. I emptied it 2 or 3 days before I moved, put it in the back of a truck, and it sat in that truck for at least 2 days. So it was 4 to 5 days before I got it in and got water in it, and it was just fine. So you really can do it. How do we how do we solve, say, a fluke infection in a dirted tank? Find one or two that has gill fluke. Say we find one or two with gill flukes. Um, Gill flukes can be removed physically. They're fairly large. They're not little tiny things. If you see the gill flaring and it's kind of uneven, you can almost every time actually see the fluke. And you take it out and pull it out with a pair of tweezers. It just it has latched onto the gills. If you pinch it, it'll let go, and you can remove it. I would be careful about tugging on it because you could injure the gills doing that. But if you poke the bear a little bit, poke the fluke, you can take it out. You can use drugs, but what you're doing by putting drugs in is you're stressing the fluke to get it to let go. And in the process, you're also stressing the fish. And it's a matter of stressing the fluke more than you're stressing the fish or something, hoping that the fluke is not as strong as the fish is, and it'll let go before the fish does. Um, but as I say, flukes are not difficult to get rid of because they're pretty visible. As are a number of parasites that attach themselves to the body of the fish. You can see them. Some of the worms will do that. That they attach themselves, the lamprey type worms. You can poke them a little bit and they'll let go, and you can just physically remove them. Um, get if you see that, play with it a bit. You'll find that it's really a simple matter to remove the larger parasites. You almost never see them though. They're very uncommon. I haven't seen gill flukes. So as a kid, I saw them in the wild occasionally, not often, but I would see them in the wild. In my fish tank, I don't know that I have ever seen a gill fluke in my tanks. Um, for one thing, they don't kill the fish. They hang on, they get a meal, they drop off, and they breed. Um, and then they could go back and reattach. But they they um, they can also be eaten by fish, by little fish, and by other feeders. So they're not a common parasite at all. How do you channel new to your channel? I haven't watched all your videos. Would you consider doing a Blackwater system? Yeah, I have, and I've got some videos on Blackwater. If you type in Blackwater in my channel, you'll a couple of videos will come up. I've done some. I've done a bunch of them. In fact, I did one at a one. It was about a 200-gallon tank. I did as a Blackwater, and it was a Blackwater, not a tannin tank. There's a difference. Most people they say Blackwater, but they don't mean Blackwater. They mean tannin, and they're not the same. A water with a lot of tannins in it is not a Blackwater tank. A Blackwater tank has a pH of 6.0 or less, with a TDS of typically less than 10. It's very soft, very acid water. And that's not what people do as Blackwater tanks. What Blackwater tank typically means is water with a lot of tannins in it. It's really a tinted water. It's a brown water tank, if you will, as opposed to a Blackwater tank. If you use a little pond lake water from outside, helps start a tank, how likely to bring in a parasite? Probably 100%, but you're not going to bring one in. That's the point. You're going to bring in hundreds of parasites. 50% of all, get this, 50% of all microfauna, that's microscopic animals, are parasitic. 50% of, and there are probably, oh, who knows how many, 100,000 species of microfauna, probably more, but we'll just use that number. That means 50,000 parasites. And microfauna are global in their reach. An amoeba here in the States is the same species of amoeba in India, anywhere else in the world for that matter. And the reason for that is simple. They travel through the air as spore. Um, when a pond dries out, the wind will blow up dust, and they'll be in the dust, and they can go up into the stratosphere and blow all the way around the earth, and have, and that's how they've been dispersed. And so paramecium are paramecium, no matter where you are. It's the same. There are not multiple species of paramecium. Now there are some animals like nematodes where there are multiple species of nematodes, and there are other critters similar to that are multi-species. But while there are probably 4 or 5 different species of Daphnia, they're again a global animal. Moena is Moena wherever you are. They're not multiple species of Moena daphnia. So um, the principle is, if you watch some of my videos about biodiversity, biodiversity is maintained in the wild by virtue of its biodiversity. In other words, here's the simplest example. The ick parasite can run rampant in a fish tank. Why is that? Because it has no enemies. There's nothing in there typically in a, a tank that no effort has been made to build biodiversity. There are no a parasite, an ick parasite will get in and it'll just run rampant because there's nothing there to control it. In the wild, you never see the kind of breakout of ick parasitology that you do in a fish tank. It just doesn't happen because when the parasite falls to the bottom and subdivides, it breeds asexually. It doesn't. It kind of goes into a cyst, and the cyst divides into, I think, 148 little tiny buggers, and they all come out, and they all get eaten up. Anymore in my highly diverse tanks, and not all of my tanks are biodiverse, mainly because I just haven't done it. It's I've got about 100 tanks, and I simply haven't done it, and I need to do that. A few of them are, most of them are not. But in those that are, if I see an ick parasite, I don't worry about it because I knew that its offspring are not going to survive in any numbers at all, and they don't. I'll see one spot one time and not see another. Bryce, my employee who works with the fish, he can spot a nick parasite across the room through a slot in the door. He's absolutely amazing. He has eyes like a hawk. He's spotting it all the time, but it'll be one spot, and then it won't be more than that. I mean, I don't get the kind of infestation that one would normally see because I have enough biodiversity in the tank to be able to control the babies when they're free swimming. They become food for other parasites. Let's see. I'm from UK. This is Yunko Kush. We have a pretty tame worms that can hurt tropical. Worry me, I like the idea of having the good bits. Well, you have to have both. You take the good with the bad, but the good will control the bad, and some of the bad will control the bad. So there are more parasites that feed on other parasites than there are parasites that feed on higher order creatures, and so there's more influence in a naturally diverse environment to control dangerous pathogens, for example, and that goes not only for microfauna, it goes for bacteria and other kinds of um, other kinds of dangerous things as well. The biodiversity is how nature survives the struggle. Um, it 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 prevents um, it prevents creatures that have the potential to disrupt the balance from reaching a point where they have the potential to wreck the balance. So it's a braking system, provides controls. It keeps it keeps anything from becoming dominant, unless that domination is beneficial, in which case it may very well become dominant, but its dominance will not cause it to eradicate other populations unless they're populations that themselves serve to eradicate. It's a confusing kind of proposition, but you probably get my point. Let's see. How long until I see my new dirt tank fully cycled? It's already fully cycled, but if you mean fully cycled, about 5 years. Cycling, the kind of cycling that will allow the food web to exist in such a manner that nutrients that are being consumed at any one point will go through the cycle and be consumed again. That's about 5 years for that cycle. So it's slow. It's not something that happens quickly. One of the early criticisms of this system I've been teaching is that it takes a long time. And that's true, it takes a long time. But I'm not in a big rush. And nature's not in a big rush. It's able to sustain itself in the new environment pretty effectively. And the longer it's allowed to do that, the sturdier it gets, the more balanced it gets, the more diverse it becomes, and the more it's able to maintain that balance and diversity. So let's see. I guess one of the examples is is the supplement that we've created. That supplement creates it contains nutrients that will stay in the substrate for years without being depleted. One of the problems with most substrates is they become depleted. Well, this is an enriching media, and we did that in order to be able to provide for nutrients in a system that does not easily allow the introduction of new nutrients into the substrate. The problem with fertilizers is they're too narrow in scope to really be all that beneficial. Fertilizers are created to cause a certain type of growth. They don't allow the whole plant to grow. They allow leaves to grow or fruit to grow or flowers, but rarely roots and stems and leaves. In the case of leafy vegetables, there are fertilizers that will embellish the leaves, cause the leaves to grow. Most fertilizers cause the plant to fruit, and therefore they fruit to the exclusion of adequate root an adequate root system. In the case of crops like corn, that's not important. They don't need much of a root system in order to fruit and create corn, because they're a grass, one, and they're not a grass that they're a grass that replenishes itself through seed. They don't subdivide. A corn doesn't subdivide. A corn doesn't send out runners. It's a single plant that fruits and dies. So it doesn't need much of a root system, just enough to hold it up. And in point of fact, planting it in fields allows it to grow with virtually no root system. So the fertilizer doesn't create roots; it creates fruit. You put that fertilizer in your fish tank, and it's going to mess with the uh, the natural growth rate of the plant, and will be it'll be frankly harmful to the plant. So we don't want to do fertilizers with aquatic plants because they're not good for the plants. They're typically unhealthy for the plants, and they because of the way they act, because they overwhelm the biology of the system. They make it impossible for the plant to put out the hormones that cause bacteria to create the nutrients that they need in order to do what they're trying to do at any given moment in time. There's a sentence you need to memorize because it contains a wealth of information that's really fundamental to the nature of plants. Plants signal to bacteria with hormones. That signal triggers a certain species of bacteria to do its thing. And its thing includes creating the very nutrients out of the material that's available in the environment that plant needs in order to grow the stems that it's trying to grow, or the roots, or the leaves, or the fruit, or whatever it is that it's trying to grow. And there are different hormones for different stages in the plant's growth and development. And now you put a fertilizer in there and you have blocked the hormonal system from being able to function. So the plant is not going to be able to signal what it needs. It'll simply take what's being thrown at it, what's being forced on it, in effect, what is blowing away the bacteria to make it impossible for it to make up its own mind. And it starts gulping leaf growth, which you'll think is wonderful because your plants are growing these gorgeous leaves. What you don't understand is that the minute you stop putting that fertilizer in there, the plant is going to struggle and suffer and probably die because it won't have been allowed to grow the root system it needs to sustain those leaves. Cheers. Thank you, Julia. Let's see, what else is here? Oh, Jennifer. Jennifer Acuna got the Snello recipe. Nice. From the snail lady. Foxy mentioned some of your videos usually we did the pond water thing. My box pond just had an infestation. Generally, if you have an infestation of something, whatever it is, um, if it's causing a problem for the fish, the best thing to do is remove the fish, put them in a hospital tank, keep an eye on them, and try to do what you need to do to control that, um, and then work on the system. Typically, parasites will die in a matter of days without a host. They don't have parasites. Don't have um, they don't have much in the way of stored energy. They're pretty much dependent on feeding to survive. The ick parasite, for example, will die in 4 days if it does not have a host. And that's true of virtually all parasites. There are a few, very few, that can survive long term, but they tend to survive as cysts. They'll survive in a dry environment, for example, or they'll survive in a or maybe a cold environment, in an environment where where they're forced to go in effect into hibernation. Now they don't hibernate, they become a cyst. They sort of encapsulate themselves in a hard shell, in effect, which can be very tiny and can, as I said earlier, blow in the wind and be carried somewhere else. That's how very often they prevent themselves from being exterminated in a given environment. Let's see what else is here. We got a gang in here. Hello, guys. Nice to see you. The Fish Story channel made me concerned. I know. Well, he does a good job. He tries hard. Um, Alex is doing. He's not doing the same thing that we're doing. He's really he understands biodiversity, but he doesn't always try to do it. He's trying to do some other kinds of things, and I'm not sure I really understand all that he's trying to do. So I really can't comment on it. It's a good fish keeper. He's a good fish keeper. Bought some hardware wood for my tank, been soaking for some months, has fuzzy layers all over it. Um, what is it? And can my fish eat it when I buy them? Yes, it's a fungus, and if you think of fungus as mushroom, you won't be far wrong. Fungus. Let me say this about fungus. Fungus. If I can say this, I can say this. Fungus is never harmful to fish. There, chew on that a bit. And here's the thing: fungus feeds on dead material, whether it's plant or animal. Typically in the wild, it'll feed on plant material, dead plant material. It does not feed on living things. That's what bacteria does. Bacteria feeds on living material, um, and kills it, and then fungus feeds on that. So when you have a fungus growing on a fish, the fungus is not the problem. The fungus demonstrates that there is a bacterial infection. So you don't cure the fungus. Fungus is fungus is a superficial thing. If it's on the skin of a fish, you can it's like a thin layer. You can just peel it off, and underneath it will be a bacterial infection, and that's the culprit. That's what needs to be treated. Fungus is a food. It's a food for most. Um, it's a food for most animals eat fungus. Now, there are some funguses that we're aware of. Certain kinds of mushrooms are toxic. So, not all fungus is edible, but the kind of fungus that grows, as like you're talking about, as a kind of a carpet on driftwood in a tank, that's a fungus attacking and breaking down sap or other dead material in the wood, and making it something that's edible, and the fish will eat it and enjoy it. It's actually a valuable source of nutrient. Let's see. Is it good to feed live blackworms every day? If you can afford to do it, I mean, if you can find them, keep them, get them going, yeah, you certainly can do that. I really do. I'm not convinced that, how I want to say this. I'm not convinced that a wide diet, a broad diet, is healthy or, for that matter, normal for fish. Most fish will eat. Most fish eat other fish. Henry Hall used to say the best food for fish is fish. You want to feed fish? Now, he was feeding big fish. When I first saw his fish room, he had 40 tanks. Not one of them was less than 100 gallons, and not one of them had more than one fish in it. They were all bare tanks, dead bare tanks, no lights on them. He had made lift tube filters that sat as sponges on top of a plastic grate with sides on it that was the filter. And he fed those fish typically twice a month. He would drive a couple of hours to go up to Frederick, Maryland, to Goldfish Road, to a goldfish farm up there, the name of which I don't remember anymore, and buy goldfish. He would buy larger ones. He'd buy like the 4-inch goldfish, and he would buy 500 of them and bring them back and feed most of them one day. He would hold some over and feed them out over a period of a couple of days, but it was the fish were just on a glut for 2 or 3 days, and then they were gone. He did that twice a month, year round, twice a month, every 2 weeks. Take a trip up, get goldfish, bring them back, feed them out. He had 6-foot electric eels, pacu, 20-pound pacus. He had a caiman that was 4 foot long. Amazing collection of fish. I got him an arapima. He was able to keep an arapima and a paddlefish. Those were the two. I wasn't able to get a paddle for him. I did finally get some paddlefish later on, and I'm looking to get some this spring for the pond. I'm kind of excited about that because they do a good job of keeping the pond clean, and we have a problem with our pond. So I want to get some and see if that'll resolve that issue. But that's all he ever fed. I mean, that is all he ever fed the whole time I knew him, which was years, 4 or 5 years, I guess. We were talking about food diversity. Obviously, if fish can eat fish, then it's getting everything that fish need in order to survive. Does that make sense? And that's typically how fish feed. They'll have a single, maybe a secondary source of food. Little fish, for example, tiny fish will feed on small crustacea, typically shrimp. Tiny fish, but typically shrimp, and that's all they'll ever eat. And there are hundreds of species of shrimp, some of which are virtually microscopic. So you feed on all that microfauna, macrofauna, and small crustacea, and that's all they ever eat. They may peck on plants. Some of them will eat plants. Mollies, for example, will eat algae. But they don't have a big diversity of food. We feed them. We think it's a good idea, and the theory is good. The theory is that with different foods you get different nutrients, but with certain food you get all nutrients. Shrimp, for example, I feed a lot of shrimp now. We're feeding now our cold flake Nutrient Preta, and we feed that to pretty much everything. The formula that we're using is krill and garlic, and the garlic, of course, acts as a gut cleaner, a gut cleanser, and the shrimp is a primary nutrient So it's providing the food that the that the fish needs. And I add shrimp to that. I may add fish eggs. I do feed a lot of fish eggs. We got a whole line of frozen products that I'm trying to figure out how to ship. I haven't got that one worked out yet, but as soon as we do, we'll be able to provide you with a nice variety of frozen foods. There are a lot of them, and they're really quite nice. Uh, Shipping them is a bit of a problem. Favorite low CO2 plant? I don't know what a low CO2 plant would be, frankly. I really don't. That would be a plant that does not um, do photosynthesis. And I don't know of any plants that don't do photosynthesis. You're into another animal kingdom or plant kingdom. That's more. I don't know. It's more even the macrofauna and microfauna, macroalgae and microalgae rather. Uh, those are those are all photosynthetic plants. I don't know. I can't answer the question. I don't know about low CO2 consumption plants. Obviously, a plant can be starved of CO2, but I think it won't grow well. Is would be the issue. A plant in water that's a bit too dark, for example, or a plant in water that is like deep pond water. You just don't get much plant growth in deep pond water because it's too deprived of oxygen and CO2, or it's over. I don't know. It doesn't have enough light. I guess is the issue. I think CO2 use and photosynthesis are. I think they go together in plants. I think you can't have one without the other. You can't do photosynthesis without CO2, but it can't take in CO2 without light. Doesn't do it in the dark. Curious, isn't it? Doesn't do it in the dark. Is it good to feed live blackworms? Yeah, good question. Can the biology, such as those you've mentioned so far, survive in water that has high levels of sodium, such as tap water that uses a water softener? Uh, yeah, it's called saltwater fish. There's a wider diversity of animals in saltwater than there are in freshwater. Freshwater animals tend not to be able to survive in saltwater because their slime coat does not block water from entering the body. Saltwater fish are able to survive in saltwater um, because their slime coat prevents the water from entering the body. So they drink differently. Now, why they don't survive in freshwater is a whole other question that I'm not going to get into, frankly. Mainly because I really don't understand it. But I know that the reason freshwater fish cannot survive in saltwater is because they can't block the salt from entering the body the way saltwater fish can. But there's a higher incidence of speciation of in saltwater is greater than freshwater. But then the environment is greater as well. It's a much more immense environment. It's utterly immense. If you consider that animal life survives maybe to a foot deep on the earth, it survives to miles deep in the ocean. So the diversity of environments that are survivable for animal life and plant life in the ocean is vastly, infinitely greater than plant and animal life on the earth. In that sense, it's a far, 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 far richer environment for life. Sort of makes you wonder why life ever took hold on the earth. It didn't really particularly need to. It just was taking advantage of a niche that didn't otherwise exist as in an aquatic environment. Get a tank ASAP. Can't wait to breed guppies. Well, that's a great fish to breed. It absolutely is, but you need more than a tank. You need a minimum of 10 tanks if you're going to breed guppies because you need to be able to separate them, to separate the females, the babies, the males. You need to be able to maintain strains to keep certain species of fish separate and keep the males separate from the females within that line. So you have a line of certain males and certain females. That's two tanks plus the babies is three. 1, 2, 3 plus the spawning tank is four. So that's four tanks minimum to maintain one strain. And you really need more than that, but kind of give you an idea of what you're getting into when you breed guppies. So little tanks, 10-gallon tanks. You need 50 10-gallon tanks to do it right. And you can go gangbusters and create some wonderful things. The Japanese are doing um, targeted breeding, line breeding with guppies, and have been for some time now, that are just utterly extraordinary. We don't even get them here in the States. They're so advanced. They stay within their environment. They'll stay. They may get into Indonesia and Malaysia. They may get into China. They'll stay mostly in Japan. We rarely ever see them. We'll see pictures of them. They occasionally will show up in some of the big national guppy shows. But amazing stuff, things you wouldn't even imagine could be bred into guppies. And look into it. It's really pretty remarkable. Guppies are probably the single most amazing fish there is in the hobby. In terms of its spawning and line breeding capability, and always has been from the beginning. From the beginning, people were line breeding guppies. They're an utterly remarkable fish, and I can't find them where I can't find good guppies. I need to get them shipped in. I'm probably gonna have to get hold of Florida, hold of my buddy in Florida, and have him send me guppies. I need good quality guppies. Any of you out there who have good quality guppies that you're spawning, that you have populations of, I'm very, very interested. Um, and want to be able to carry them in my shop because I want to be able to help my hobbyists breed and sustain guppies. We're gonna have 5 more minutes here, and I'm gonna cut this off. Lena finally made it in. Let's see. Favorite fish or a 30-gallon community tank? Gee, I don't have a favorite. I have a couple of hundred favorites. I like almost everything. I've got right now about, I don't know how many tanks I have, 50, 60 tanks, and I've got different fish in every tank, pretty much. Big fan of how you explain things. You're an inspiration. Thank you. Who says Giannis? Oh, that sounds Greek to me. Dogianicus. Dogianicus. Giannis Dogianicus. Must be Greek. Thank you for your answers. Can you do sand only? You can. It just takes much longer for it to build up a nutrient substrate. We kickstart that with the soil, but you can do it without. It just takes a few years to get it built up. Christian, you got a bunch of rams going there. I need to send you. I messed up the last time and had you try to ship to me. That didn't work out. I need to send you some labels so you can get some fish up to me. I'll do that as soon as I can. How much is a membership? Considering joining? We don't. YouTube has a membership thing. I don't know. It's a $5 or something. Um, if you want to join on Patreon. That's much more beneficial to us and ultimately to you. We're doing more and more with Patreon. That's I think $5 or $10 a month for that. Other than that, we really don't have memberships. Buy plants, get into our store and buy some plants. That's really how we sustain ourselves. I need to take a break. If you want, we're at 72. We're jumping up. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take about a 1 minute break and come back and we'll carry on for a little longer. We're getting a lot of people in, so sit tight for a moment, please. Oh, Lord. All right, I'm back. Let me pour a little tea here. Carry on here a little bit. Let's see where we're at. Favorite stocking options for 30 community. Um, it really depends on what you want to do. If you're talking Tetris, that's one thing. You're talking like um, small cichlids, like the dwarf cichlids, angels, discus, catfish. It depends entirely on what you're trying to do. There, I don't I don't I don't have a favorite fish. I have fish that I find that are hard to get, that I try to get and try to keep going. Right now, one of those that I've been successful with recently is the yawaru. It's a fish that I've tried to keep for many years and now have a big spawn. I've got 50 or 60 almost 1 inch waru, which I'm very, very excited about. Um, so there are those kinds of things. I think I'd like to spawn geophagus. try to get some jigos going. That's a neat fish. Um, there's some other things we're trying to get a breeding population of bettas going. We do now finally have baby bettas, so we're excited about that. And Brenda did that all by herself, so she's real tickled with herself, and rightfully so. We finally got some microworms, so we're able to feed these tiny babies, and that's a big deal, having the right kind of food for them. Black ocelotus had babies. Bravo. Nice job. Greatest mug you'll ever have, says Julia. It's a nice mug. Let's see. What are your favorite? We did that stocking options thing. Let's see. Thundermuck. Starting a new tank and the resurrection jars have snails. Seems like a little else. Except because of the winter cold. Probably, yeah. There's a lot in there that you can't see in terms of biology. There's a lot of bacteria, a lot of uh, uh, different kinds of microflora. Um, there's fungus in it, plus microscopic life that's just too tiny to see. So you don't always get to see the macros, the bigger stuff. But remember that that's a very tiny portion of what actually is in there. So keep it going. It'll be great. Yeah, and you can add to it again in the spring, but start putting some of that in your tank. Get it going in the tank. You don't always see the most important things because they're too tiny. They're microscopic. Let's see. Well, shrimp eat shrimp. Uh, yeah, they will. If they're dead, they will. They're not going to eat them live because that's not the way they feed. They feed on dead material or on plant material or on fungal material. They don't feed on living material. Obviously, ones are dying, says Troy. Yeah, that's right, or Troy. That's right. 4 foot red-tailed catfish video in a restaurant getting eaten. Ah, I've done that. Um, when I had my shop in Florida, we would get really big fish come in, big pacu, big red tails, big stuff. We once had somebody bring about 24-foot clown knife fish that they had caught in a local pond. We kept a half a dozen of them. But typically, I would get these. We had club meetings once a month, and I would get like a big pacu, a big 20-pound pacu, and take it across the street to the Thai restaurant and have them prepare it and then serve it at our club meeting. And it was always a smashing hit. They got to eat red tail or got to eat pacu or whatever it was. Only did that with big fish that I really had no reason to want to keep. And of course, it was a very special kind of use I put them to. So it benefited the culinary delights of lots of fish people. Want to set up a planted tank, I have an 80 long, can't afford aquarium soil. Can I make the soil? Absolutely. If you go to fatherfishaquarium.com, fatherfishaquarium.com, that's their primary website. You'll find all the links for everything there. Get into the shoal, their Discord server, and ask for the worksheet on creating soil. The formula is right there. You can do it yourself. You can buy the supplement for about $30 and add that to your soil. That's what a lot of people do, particularly with big tanks. You just buy a couple of bags of potting soil and peat moss and finished manure, finished compost, and add the supplement to that, and you're good to go. And cap it with sand. Let's see. Yasti has asked the same question about 100 times. I see. We got it, Yasti. We got it. Security monitor. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Um, and I appreciate the comment. That's very nice. Thank you. Yoshi, you can stop posting now. Honest to God, he posted 100 times. Well, I got it. I did get it. That's one way to be sure your question gets answered, isn't it? Just keep posting it. As if I'm looking at all, eventually I'll see it, and keep posting it until I see it. I guess I can't say too much negative about that. Let's see. It thinks this water is too acidic for shrimp. That's not likely. Um, that's likely not the problem. It may be too warm. The shrimp tend to like cooler water. I don't know about salt water though. There are some that require salt water. The Caradina prefer salt water, more acidic water. So I don't think that's right. Let's see. Holds a tank. My older tank. My older tanks do best for shrimp. They have more food in them. Older tank will have more available food for shrimp. Generally, if shrimp die, it's because they're starved. And they're hard to feed. You have to feed algae. Algae wafers are good, or vegetable material like zucchini, sliced zucchini. That's always a good food. Let's see what else is going on here. New to fish keeping. Well, good luck, Dan. All right. Starting a new tank. Should I add tap water to the tank after the substrate and then control the chloramine? Tap water in a separate bucket, treated. If you put plants in the tank, that'll control chloramine. You can also throw a vitamin C tablet, like a 500 meg vitamin C tablet in the tank. That'll get rid of chloramine and chlorine almost instantly. If you dissolve it first and put it in, it's gone right away. Just not even an issue. But plants absorb chlorine and chloramine as well. So a heavily planted tank. My advice typically, when you set a tank up, set it up with tap water, plant it immediately, and put fish in the next day. Because by then the chlorine or chloramine are gone because the plants will have absorbed them. But to be on the safe side, of vitamin C tablet, which is dirt cheap, it's about a penny or a nickel or something, will take care of it. All right, let's do one or two more here. I'm doing well, thank you, Tizar. Question about top layer of the substrate sand. Can I use sea sand? Yes, absolutely. Um, just get the cigarette butts out of it. And if you go further up on the beach where it's rain washed, you won't get the salt content in the sand. So, but beach sand's perfect, absolutely. Sue Ann, I'm great, thank you. I'm doing well, feeling well. I think I'm starting to get old, so that's a bit of a problem. But uh, every condition that I come down with, the doctors seem to find a cure for. Of course, it's got me on an apothecary of medications that I'm pumping into my system every day. Um, but I'm stable. I'm stable. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm moving around. I'm doing probably not the best I can do because I'm not eating as well as I should, but I'm cooking for myself, and that's always a problem. Eating out is more of a problem though, so I'm better off with this. I'd like to have a really good a really good cook. I think that would be that would be my number one priority if I had unlimited resources. I would hire a really good cook because I love good food and I don't seem to be able to cook it or buy it. Sponge filters are I find sponge filters is probably the best filter there is. I've had them all, tried them all, used them all. I like the sponge better than anything. All right, we're gonna wind it down here. We're at about 9:30, I think. Started a little bit late, but carried on a few more minutes. So I'll be back here next Thursday. I'm probably gonna start another live stream on a different channel. The channel name is Lou Foxwell. I want to try to get that going, see if we can't get a second channel cranking. Maybe that'll, hopefully, we'll be able to pick up new subscribers that way or new viewers. We've been kind of dwindling down here. Although this has been a stupendous response tonight. We've got 60 people in here right now, which is really remarkable. And I'm honored and delighted and thrilled, even though I started late, to have such a population. And things go in different directions. I kind of decided not to have a sidekick, keeping track of the chat, and I'm sorry I did that tonight because I've not done a good job of keeping up with the track, keeping up with the chat, and that's been the bulk of what we've been doing. So that's kind of problematic. 66, my word. Well, if it just went from 66 to 55, so there's some flow here. I don't know what that's all about. I don't think I'll get to 100 tonight, and I don't think I want to try. So we're going to put a lid on it for tonight, and I will be back soon, for sure by next Thursday. But look for me sooner. Look for me when you least expect me, and I may well be there. Love you all. Bye for now. Nice to be with you.